Shalom. Let them give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS. And peace and blessings out there to the Akim doing this word of Syrian truth. We're going to get into this topic of staying in the spirit.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 1. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach, Yahawashi, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit.
Right, because we're not condemned with this world, okay? All right? So if we walk in the spirit, we are we're after the Lord's. If we walk in the flesh, we're not of his. Right? Read.
Verse 2. For the law of the spirit of life in Yahawashi have made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, the Most High sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh.
Right, because we couldn't do the whole law, and according to the Old Testament. So the Heavenly Father sent down his Son, Yahawashi, in the form of sinful flesh to condemn the world through the flesh.
And it also shows that when Yahawashi was walking the planet Earth, that he was made perfect. You know, he condemned sin. He overcame sin. You know, he was made perfect because here it is. He faced the various temptations and didn't sin. You know, so what? He condemned sin in the flesh. You know, verse 4, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. But they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh.
Right. They that are of the flesh mind the things of the flesh, the things of this world. Okay. Getting into clubs, messing with too many women, just the temptations of this world. All right. You can easily be taken by it, though. But us and we stay in this truth, though. We stay in the spirit. Okay. So we don't be subject unto that. Right.
But they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit.
Right. And that's what we do. We stay in the spirit, okay? So we mind the things of the spirit. And what is that? Doing his work. Doing his work of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. And continue to pushing this truth and doing his work.
Okay. Verse 6. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
Right, because we're not bound by these chains of being carnal-minded and being living of the flesh. We're free. Because we're in the spirit.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High. For it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be.
Right, because we in the flesh, though, we're not bound by the law. But if we live in the flesh, though, we're bound by the law. We're going to be judged by the law. Right? You get to James?
This is James chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life,
right,
which the Lord hath promised to them that love him.
Right, and the Lord said that if you overcome the temptation, he's going to give you the crown of life. Okay?
That's right, because what? Ultimately, you know, we have to endure temptations. You know, the Lord said, for if you keep the word of my patience, I will keep you from the hour of temptation. You know, so what? The Lord ultimately is telling us that we have to go through the struggles. We got to go through the afflictions. We got to go through the tribulations and overcome it. You know, and if we overcome it, the Lord is going to allow it to where we don't take the RFID chip, where we don't take the mark of the beast, so we don't be judged with the 2/3 by way of the thermonuclear missiles. Reading on, it says, verse 13, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of the Most High. For the Most High cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man.
Right, and the tempter is who? Tempter is Satan, according to Matthew the 4th chapter. Okay, man can't live on bread alone, but you live through every word that the Lord speak through the Spirit. Okay, so like I said, we stay in that spirit and we try not to be tempted. Okay.
Verse 14, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed.
Right, because there's a lot of pitfalls out here. There's a lot of temptations out here that man can fall victim to. Okay, got so many distractions. A lot of it is what Esau puts out there, you know, these pits and snares, these jinns, you know.
That's right. Verse 15. Then when lust have conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren.
And that's a warning given to us. Do not err, my beloved brethren. Okay, so we, like I said, we gotta just continue to stay in the spirit. All right.
That's right.
All right. Go to Galatians.
Okay. It's the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
Right, and that's the fruit of your doings, though, because like I said, if you're going by the flesh, your body is corrupt. Okay, incorruption is being in the spirit, right?
And if I could add, what flesh decomposes, man. This flesh dies. You know, here it is. When the individual dies, after the third day, the body starts to decompose. But what the spirit always lives.
Quickening.
You know, it's the spirit that quickeneth. When you look up that word quickeneth, it means alive. You know, so the spirit is what makes you alive. When this flesh goes into the grave, and you know, as they say, dust to dust, ashes to ashes, what does the spirit do? Go back to the Heavenly Father. Because it's what? Everlasting. You know, so what? The scriptures tell us in St. John, the 6th chapter, the 63rd verse, that the word is a spirit. You know, so if we stay occupied in the spirit, which is the word, we're going to reap life everlasting. You know, which is the kingdom.
Right.
Verse 9, it says, and let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
Right. So, like I said, though, we keep that temperance, okay? We keep that prudence, we keep that fortitude, and we stay in the spirit, okay? And we just continue to just hold on and just continue to not faint. Continue doing this work. Keep abounding in this work. Okay, and with that, I think of all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH,
BAHASHAM,
YAHAWASHI. Double honor to the apostle and elders of GMS, and peace and blessings out there to the Akim, out there doing his work. It's the saving in truth. Shalom.
Shalom.